Hey guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're looking at my very first knife from Brous Blades. But it's from their budget line, their import line. This is the T4. I think I was reading this is their fourth variation on this knife, but this thing's the budget one. The full retail cost on this is $69, and it goes up from there depending on the options. This one's got Zytel handle scales. You can get it with aluminum, that costs a little premium. You can get it with different steel, I think, on the blade, and that's a premium. This is D2 steel, Zytel, nice big knife, and they say some interesting things about this knife, and I found some interesting things myself. I think you're going to want to see this. Keep watching. First thing I want to say about this knife is it's on the bigger side of some of the knives that I've been reviewing lately. It's a good sized knife. We've got a total length of almost 9 inches, like just very shy of 9 inches. So yeah, it's a bigger knife. We've got this really cool, almost like a harpoon tip on this knife. It's very, very tiny. Let's see if I can show you on here. There you go. It's the light's a little bit tough here. There you go. You can see that tiny little bit of a rise piece right there. Very interesting. Got a nice satin grind on this blade and a pretty decent final grind for the sharpened edge. We've got a nice ramp there for your thumb, and the jimping's sort of a nice coarse jimping, but it's not sharp on the edges at all. The meat of your thumb fits in there very well, at least mine does. We've got these lines put into the side of the polymer handle scales here. Big back spacer, jimping back here as well. A standoff studs for your pocket clip right there. And the pocket clip is right side only. And that's the only place it says something is right there. You got the Brous Blades logo. Other than that, you can't read anything on this knife. Nested liners, so it's hard to see the liners in there. And the access for the thumb release, it's got a little bit of jimping on there, a little bit of a scoop out section right there for your thumb to easily get in there to close the knife. Closes quite well. Action's very smooth. We've got ball bearings in here, steel ball bearings, and we've got a ceramic detent in there. We've got non-spinning pivot pins, so fixed pin, so that's good. So you just have to adjust it on this side right here. Flush body screws all over. I really like that. That's a nice touch. It's a good-looking knife. I like it. It feels good in the hand. Here's a reverse grip. Very, very comfortable, especially with this jimping here for this thumb. A lot of protection because that flipper tab becomes a nice guard. Regular saber grip works great. Fist grip, comfortable. Sneak up for a pinch grip, that's very comfortable. The only one that's not very comfortable is if you're going to do a pull grip like this, like a reverse pull grip. Most knives are not that comfortable doing this kind of grip, but you don't use that very often at all. Like I've never used it except for when I've been camping and I want to shave some boards, and because you get a really powerful stroke pulling this way and shave some of the side of the boards off, logs. So there you go. That's the main overview of the outside of the knife. Well, I forgot to say we've got a nice sharpener's choil. Comes out far enough. A nice satin flat there. The flipper tab is designed for the light switch method. So there's a little bit of jimping right there. So it's designed to be pulled back like that. And if you push down, you can get it to work as well. Whoa, my power went out on my lights. Okay, so some other information about this knife. This is a collaboration knife between Jason Brous of Brous Blades and I'll just say Tanium Design. There's another guy, Jason, who has that business. They collaborated together and they've made this knife. And it's a really cool knife, which is why they've got so many iterations of it in so many different ways. It's a very interesting knife that a lot of people want to have. Now, they say the role for this knife is that it's a multi-purpose survival EDC fighter knife. In other words, it's a knife. If you ask me, those are the main things you use a knife for, right? And I guess they think that this thing's really good for all of those things. And yes, I can see that it can work as a fighting knife because it can pierce very well. It's a large knife. It's a nice high flat grind, which means it's a good cutting knife, EDC tasks. And, I guess you could use it for survival too. One interesting thing we have is not only a flipper tab, we've got this little cutout in here. Well, it's not all the way through. It's just a sort of a milled section with, 4 steps there? Or 3 steps up, 4 layers. And that's easy for your thumb to get in there to open the knife. I wish they would have done it on the other side as well. Why not? Are left-handed people not worth anything? There's lots of room for it. They could have easily done it so that, it would have been perfect right there for lefties to open the knife, but you can do it with your finger underneath, but that's not convenient at all. And they could have easily made a second pocket clip and put a couple holes in here. Easy to make this thing very user-friendly to the other 10% of the community, but very few knife companies do that, and they don't do it on very many of their knives. But it happens every once in a while. I wish it would have happened here. By the way, Zytel, it's a decent product, but I prefer, G10 or micarta or wood. I just don't like this polymer kind of feel. But build-wise, it's pretty good. So we've got that harpoon-style blade. I covered all that. The lockup is good. No blade plays side to side, up and down. Lockup is nice and early where it should be. Not overly early. Not a problem at all. Blade centering is quite good. It's off by just a little bit. Deployment works well. The detent is soft. It's not super soft, but it is soft. Let me see if it pulls this in. So yeah, it's okay, but I wish it went thunk a little bit more. Okay, so now I think we're ready for, well, let's show you the insides of this knife. So there you go. That's how it's made and put together and everything and all the different parts on it. We've got a factory sharpness down here. I'm going to do the specs and stuff now. The factory sharpness of this edge came out at 200. So 200 grams of pressure to cut through a filament that I use for my standardized testing. That's not great. That's not bad. It's sort of very middle of the road sharpness of the edge of this knife. The weight of it is 141 grams. Which is 4.95 ounces. So we got basically 9 inches at 5 ounces. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's talk about the length of the knife and everything, about the parts. The cutting edge and the blade length, so the tip to the sharpener's choil and the tip to the closest spot on the handle, 9.65 centimeters, 3.8 inches. So almost a 4-inch cutting edge on a 9-inch knife. Very good balance between the two. The blade thickness is 3.68 millimeters. That's 0.145 inches. So a nice thick blade that you've got. The blade depth, and I measured it right after this, thumb rise comes back down again, right there, 3.05 centimeters, 1.2 inches. The thickness of the edge right behind that final grind right there, 0.57 millimeters. That's 0.0225 inches. The grind angle is 20.7 degrees on this side and 18.8 degrees on this side. It's not terribly even. It's a little steeper. Closer you get to the sharpener's choil, the angle gets steeper. But not a terrible sharpening job. And now let's talk about the handle. The handle length is 13.4 centimeters, 5.27 inches. The grip area in here is about 4.3 inches, 10.9 centimeters. The handle thickness, not counting the pocket clip, is 1.36 centimeters, 0.535 inches, so fairly typical, a half-inch thick handle. The handle depth, it's biggest right there, not counting the pivot area, and that is 3.03 centimeters, 1.19 inches. Closed, the depth of the knife right there is the biggest spot, not counting this flipper tab sticking out, is 3.92 centimeters, 1.55 inches. And the total length of the knife with the blade deployed tip to tail, 22.75 centimeters, 8.96 inches. Great proportions. The balance of this knife is right there over the sharpener's choil. So a lot of really good things about this knife as far as how well it's been built. One of the cons, the pros and the cons, let's do the price first. $69. I got mine from White Mountain Knives. You can get 10% off using my coupon code. That means it's $62.10. So that's not too far out of a budget price range. It's pretty close to it, so that's not bad. But in Canadian dollars, that's around 82 Canadian dollars, around 55 euros, around 47 British pounds, something like that, give or take, if you got it from White Mountain Knives with the coupon code. But I know some of you people live in countries where there's all kinds of duties and fees and taxes and all kinds of stuff, and the prices just go up from there. So now let's talk about the different problems and the good things that we found in this knife. It was over lubricated with a garbage lubrication. I've taken it all off. I've wiped it all down when I took the knife apart. This thing was coated, especially the pivot area, with this brown sticky gunk. Take a look at these pictures. It was nasty, nasty. So I cleaned all that off, and that helped make it smoother. You know, I put my own lubrication in there, and now the action's nice and smooth, a little more snappy. You know, when you go to close it, it just wants to close. You know, it's working much better. The detent is a little bit soft. I'm going to see if I can pull my trick out of the hat and do a little bit to stiffen up that detent a little bit and make it a little more crisp, because I'd like to have that. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I really would like this cutaway to be on both sides, but I really like it an awful lot. It's a really nice thing that they've done there. It does pick up, because it's a fairly crisp edge there, it does pick up your skin as your skin comes off by doing that. You can see already there's just a little pile of skin right in that edge now. But, you know, be that as it may, I just wish they would have done it on both sides. Even if it's just for aesthetic purposes, it would look better on both sides. And it wouldn't weaken the blade anything significant whatsoever, because you still got loads of blade stock down there. Handle's comfortable. Most grips are really good. This knife, you know, like I said, could be thumb opening, could be flipper opening. I really like the body screws. They're done very well. They're done to a very good size tolerance, so they're not, the screwdriver doesn't bounce around in there freely. Fixed pivot pin, I like that an awful lot. Lockup is good. I like having inset liners. It just makes the knife look that much nicer. I don't mind back spacers at all. It's actually easier to clean a knife if it's got a back spacer. I know some people say the opposite, but it's so easy. You just put a cotton swab in there and slide it right through. Whereas with pillars, you got to wipe around them, each one. I like that there's not a lot of writing and branding all over the knife. I like having nice, plain, simple knives. And just that little bit of a Brous Blades logo there is a really nice touch. I think they would have been better having that, you know, on the ricasso here, something really small. You know, but I shouldn't be asking for more writing on knives. Just after I say that I don't like that kind of thing. So the cons, I already talked about how dirty and gunky it was. I really wish they wouldn't have done that. But it was easy enough to clean up. Sharpening is going to be easy enough to, you know, remedy this cutting edge. It's not bad at all, but to make it 20 degrees per side, nice and crisp and clean, will be easy because of the good sharpener's choil. I would have liked a left-hand pocket clip, and some skeletonizing would have made this thing a little lighter, but it's not bad. At 5 ounces for a 9-inch knife, that's not bad at all. And so that's the knife in question. What do you think of this knife? If you're looking for a bigger knife like this, go ahead and check out my links down below. I've got links for White Mountain Knives to get this, and I might have some other links as well. I'm not sure, but you can at least go there. And if you're outside of North America, hopefully I've got some other links for you as well. We'll see what I can find. So thank you for watching my video. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Tomorrow, or maybe on Sunday, I'll be doing the draw this is Saturday's video. So probably Monday, I'll be doing the draw to see which one of my Patreon supporters has won for the month of February. And that'll be a great, I like doing those videos. Those are fun. And letting somebody know they've won a knife is always good fun. Thank you so much for watching my videos, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. And remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.